Hey guys, welcome to the show Maraha and back to fitness number 31 and 4 weeks to go to London. So first off, I'd like to give a shout out to the great James Cottle, a friend of mine, an inspiration to a lot of people. James is an over 65s master athlete. He's represented Ireland in the British and Irish Masters cross country. He's a 3:03 marathoner in his 60s. He's a really tough dude, competitive. Just one of those people you look at and you go, "Oh, I'd hope that I could be doing that when I'm his age," but probably not, because James is pretty unique. But I was doing my long run today, and I started off here at the house, and I ran down onto the quays, and unusually, Samuel Beckett was gone for a spin. As you can see here, it looks like they were doing the servicing on the bridge, but it was really cool to see it turned sideways, opened up. It's so the boats can go up and down, but I didn't see any boats, so I'm assuming they were just servicing the bridge, but it was really cool to see. I went around into O'Connell Street, up through the city centre, back towards Croke Park, where the atmosphere is building for the ladies Gaelic football. I think it's semi-finals. No, it's finals actually. Yeah, it's Meath and Dublin in the final. And then I jumped onto the Rail Canal, and I ran the whole way up as far as the 12th lock on the Rail Canal. As you can see here, I met two old friends of mine. They were enjoying the sun, but back in January they were slipping and sliding around on the canal after it froze over. So it was kind of cool, kind of nice to see them just chilling out by the canal, soaking up the autumn sun. So I had got to the 12th lock. As you can see here, this is pretty cool as well. It's the viaduct. No, it's an aqueduct over the M50. You wouldn't think it's there when you're driving on the M50, when you see all those little bridges going over your head. But as you can see here, you're on the canal, which is really quiet and relaxing. And then you come to this part where you're crossing over the M50, and you're on this aqueduct, which is really beautiful. But then you look down and you see the madness of the M50 with all the cars whizzing by. I was running back towards the city, and I met James. He was out doing his run. He's training for Belfast Marathon, where he's hoping to knock out a sub 3:10 in the over 65s category, which is absolutely phenomenal, so it was great for me, because I was just after going over an hour and a half, and I was aiming to do 2.5 hours, and I was struggling mentally, wondering if I'd ran from where I'd met James all the way home, I probably would have got about 2:10, 2:15, and then I would have to try and squeeze in running around to find that extra 15-20 minutes. But I met James, and I turned and went back up the canal a bit with James, and then when he hit his target where he wanted to turn, we turned back, and we ran the whole way back in towards the city centre, down the canal, down through Portland Row, down more or less onto the quays, where I just veered off home, and James headed for his home. He still had another 10k to run. He was doing he did 35k this morning. Fair play to him, because it was really warm. It was 20 plus degrees. There was a nice breeze blowing into our face coming back down the canal, which was nice. But again, I got home, the body was, a little bit shocked, because I haven't ran. That's the longest run I've done since I ran New York City Marathon in 2019. So I got 2 hours and 32 minutes. So I reckon I got around 20 miles, because I'm still using just a stopwatch and haven't been using the GPS. I reckon I got about 20 miles in today. Next week, I will hope to get 2 hours 45, which give me an extra maybe 2 miles, and then maybe go for 3 hours on the last run. Trying to squeeze as much as I can in before London, but I've always done 3 20-mile runs, 20-mile plus runs leading into all of my marathons. So I will feel, if I don't achieve that I will be really underprepared, because I'm underprepared as it is. The training hasn't gone well. As most of you will know, last weekend I had a bit of a disaster at the Islegate Half Marathon. the way the week has panned out, I thought that I might be back doing a bit of more serious training on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But as the week panned out, the legs were like just recovering very gradually. And when it got to yesterday, Saturday, I got up and I said, no, there's no point in going out and trying to do a session now and ruin my long run tomorrow, which would have been today. So I just went and I ran for an hour yesterday. Went for my run today. Now the legs, there's no discomfort in the quads now. Both quads feel pretty much recovered. But the feeling I would have is the legs felt today like I had trained hard during the week, so they were flat. They weren't sore, they weren't giving me any trouble, but they were flat. Like I wasn't, if I wanted to pick up the pace, if I wanted to say run marathon pace there today for a couple of miles, I don't think I would have been able to do it. Just the freshness is not there in the legs, and that's just after running easy all week. My mileage is cut back for the week, and I just ran easy all week. So, but the legs, as regards the DOMs, the stiffness, the soreness, is gone. So I would hope now this week that a bit of freshness comes back into the legs, and I can start maybe doing a bit more, something a bit more, up tempo. So today's run, I did it in the Speed 2. And what I've been doing recently with the Speed 2, because I find that it doesn't give me the stability that I feel I need if I want to use it as a regular trainer, I've been using this off-the-shelf orthotic. You can get these in most sport shops. What you need to do is go in and stand on a pressure plate so you can see what type of arch you have, and then it'll give you an idea. Like there's a low, medium and high. So low arch, obviously go for the low, medium. If you have high arch, obviously go for the high. So you'd go by whatever you see on the pressure plate. It's an off-the-shelf kind of orthotic kind of thing. So when I put this guy into the Speeds, it just gives me that extra bit of stability in the shoe that makes me feel comfortable that it's okay for me to do a decent bit of mileage in. The only problem is today near the end of the run, just under the ball of my foot, which would be around here, just a little burn. Like I hadn't run that distance using these before. Probably about 10-12 miles would have been the max. Like once you hit that 15-16 mile kind of distance, different things happen with the body. So I just need to be aware of that. Now I won't be using that in the race. I'll be using the pros in the race, and I won't be using that. Racing is different. Training, you need to be a little bit more careful with what you're wearing on your feet. But racing, just wear whatever makes you run fast. Extremely thirsty today after the run. 20 miles in that plus 20-degree heat. Take it out of you. So I would always drink some electrolyte. I actually brought some electrolyte with me on the run, because in London they're wanting people to wear a bottle while they run to reduce touch points on the course for water. I was wearing a flip belt with a flip bottle in it, and I put electrolyte in it, and it was really nice to have on the run. And since I got back, I've drank a few more electrolyte drinks. And you just need to be very conscious after a very warm day where you've done a lot of mileage, just to keep the fluids, keep putting them into the body, because I've probably lost 4 or 5 pounds weight in fluids doing the run. So you need to replace all of that. If you don't, your body will take longer to recover, and you'll get less benefit from the training you've done. So make sure you keep the fluids flowing, okay? I use the Noon electrolyte tabs. I find them the nicest. Now, high fives would be the most popular around this neck of the woods. You get those in most places. They're fine. The Noon are a little bit more expensive, but they're made from more natural materials, and they're not as, the sweetness in them is not like that fake sweetness that you'll get. It's more of a natural flavour. So I just find them nicer to drink, okay? So really the big news for me this week, body is getting better. You might still hear it in my voice. My voice is still a little bit raspy. Still waking up in the mornings feeling a little bit off. Today was a real test. If I couldn't complete that today, I was in real trouble. But I got through it okay. It's the first brick of that 3 bricks to get to that distance, that longer distance, that I will have those in the bank for London. The next thing to do is this half marathon that I failed in. I've found one that I can replace it with. So next weekend, they're a Toth half marathon. There during the week, they had advertised an extra 100 places. On Bankhead, I said, oh look, there's an extra 100 places being advertised for a Toth, maybe you should do it. And previously I said I didn't want to do it because it was on at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that was a little bit off-putting, but the situation I'm in now, like it's do or die. Like I kind of need, I kind of need to run this half marathon, race it, race it, to give me that target for London, to give me that confidence that I can target a certain time. So it's on at 9 o'clock next Saturday morning. So the week coming, hopefully the legs will freshen up a bit more, and I'll do some form of a session probably Tuesday, and then just run easy into the race. And fingers crossed, everything goes well. There's no issues with my legs, and I can just complete it and run a decent time. I mean, like the last half marathon that I completed was out the same direction, out towards Ratoath, and I ran 85:30-ish. And that was on at 8 o'clock in the morning, so that was quite early. I was an hour earlier. Like an hour can make a huge difference. But fingers crossed, next weekend the weather's pretty reasonable and I can get through it with no problems, and get a time, and then concentrate on London, looking at the course, looking at what time I need to hit certain markers at and what have you. But that half marathon will be key for me to give me that confidence that I can go for maybe that sub 3 or that sub 2:55, because I don't think a 2:50 marathon is realistic at all now at this stage, even with super shoes. I just don't have the work done. I don't have the miles in the legs. I'm still have weight to lose. So look, I'm not too worried though, because I'm actually quite relaxed about it all now. I'm quite relaxed now today after getting my 20 miler in. If I can get a good session in during the week, I'll be even more relaxed. And if next Saturday goes well, I will become confident towards the race. Like, and that's what I need. I need a bit of a confidence booster at the moment. It's getting real now for a lot of people, because we have London, we have Manchester, and we have Belfast now. I'm sure there's marathons going on all over the world, but people I know, they're all training for those marathons, and we're all getting within touching distance. Another one that's coming up on the horizons, a lot of people will be doing Rotterdam in Holland as well, which is a very popular marathon for people from Ireland. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully next weekend we get through the half marathon, and then we can talk about a predicted time to aim for London. And so what I'll do is I'll give my predicted time, and then we'll ask everyone who's running a marathon in the next couple of weeks to give their predicted time. So we look at your PB, your predicted time, and we leave that open then to see what you do run. And we look at comparing a half marathon time to marathon time. And touch wood, please God, everything goes well between now and then, and the legs are nice and fresh, and we can get it done. Thanks very much, guys, for tuning in. I hope your training is going really well. Like, share and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and any comments down below, no problem at all. I'll get straight back to you. Take care, and we'll see you soon.